Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to try to address certain things related to familial interactions or gender or energy based interactions that can cause people to have either conflicts or resentments or worse, manifesting in their relationships. Now, majority of my life, I have led life where I saw either a long period of silence and conflict free life simply because I took myself out of the equation of conflict of different kinds, which could have stemmed either from family interactions or conflicts which arose from dating someone, or when I did briefly get married. While I was married, the conflicts that were happening, I wanted to take myself out of those equations because in all of these difficult experiences of my life, there was a repeating pattern. The repeating pattern for me that was emerging every time I was trying to communicate to someone that this is the problem zone. When I am having a mutual problem with someone else, and it's a one on one equation where there's a problem arising, where every time I'm trying to communicate something, it's not getting received in the right way. As a result, I would get many instances of either denial or retort of anger or gaslighting, where they would not simply deny the experience that they're doing it, but the gaslighting can arise from people saying, if I have done it, I'm sorry you experienced it. But it's not someone saying sorry for a bad experience that someone is looking for when they are asking their friend or their partner or their loved one or their family or anyone they care about, that hey, this is the interaction I'm having with you, which is a difficult interaction, and can we change it? And when you tell it to them in a polite manner, the polite manner of the people who are meek like me or who are empathetic like me might be like saying them to them very subtly. If say you're walking somewhere and going on a trip with your family, you are having a health issue with the sun, or you are having a cardiac issue with the environment around in that area. Now maybe you haven't consciously arisen to the fact about the environmental impact of that area, but at that point of time you have consciously awakened to the fact that the sun is distressing you. How would you subtly show that the sun is distressing when you're walking with them on a trek, and they first of all, if they are going and spending their morning hours connecting with nature because that is what they need, while you needed some sleep in the same time, so you couldn't go with them in the morning hours, then because they have done their refreshing energizing activity in the early morning, they decide to relax and eat and do everything that their body needs. While this is literally a trip experience that I have had repeatedly with some family, and while they are enjoying their thing, what has happened to a person like me who is not as energetic as them? Firstly, because I didn't grow up eating the kind of foods they eat. Secondly, because of the foods that I eat, my energy levels when it's low demands that I rest. My energy level demands that first I get the sleep that my body needs, the rest and the fatigue that my body needs, than heightened physical activity. Because I have other underlying disease conditions that were unfolding in my body also needed me to not be as hyperactive, as overactive, as highly active as some of the people I was going on these trips with. And it's not that these people didn't have people of low intensity levels in their own social surroundings. They had their kid, they had their parent, they also had other loved ones who might also not be at the same energetic level as them. But until those people understand that other people around them, especially the ones who are the strongest physically in society, if they don't understand the problems of those who are the weakest physically in society, physical health wise, what is the point of someone having a strong health? You are actually denying the validity of your own blessing provided by God if in that blessing all you see is that I have good physical health and you are not able to perceive the poor health or weakened health or less developed health of someone else who might be younger than you, who might be less healthier than you, who might be older than you, who might have had a life condition where they don't have the same privileges as you. And as a result, every time I have interacted with people, and I have to cry because it's a trauma for me that hasn't healed because I don't have people in my life who understand these factors about my health. Even if I communicate that I have a problem, and I can only barely communicate the first step of the problem when I actually have 10 problems impacting my health, and at the times when I have communicated it, my awareness level was about only one or two problems. My awareness level was not about the 10 problems that I was manifesting at that point of time in my life or slowly developing in my health, or be it physical health, be it emotional health, be it mental health. But why was it slowly developing in my body, mind, and emotions? Because, and this is true of anyone who is going through some aspect of the same journey with their loved ones. Because, say, in my example, what happened with one of the trips was, and this has happened in many of the trips, not just one. These people love eating non-veg food. I do not enjoy eating non-veg food. Where every time I go on a trip, they are only focused on going to places where only non-veg will be served. That means those places are not focused on good quality vegetarian food. So as a result, if I go all the time on trips with people who are non-vegetarians and I am seeking vegetarian food, while hotels in India do serve both non-veg and vegetarian food, the hotels who will be serving only vegetarian food will have a different energy, different way of serving the food, different focus on getting items that are healthy for a vegetarian, balanced for a vegetarian, than they would when they are serving a mixed culture or a culture where people are only enjoying non-vegetarian food. And everyone I have in my family is non-vegetarian focused. As a result, anytime I interact with them, I do not get a balanced diet. And I've grown up eating like that. Even though my soul wanted me to eat vegetarian food, I was forced to eat non-vegetarian food as a child because my family was not ready to change. And while it was okay when my family was not ready to change, that I was forced to eat whatever they are eating, when I became an adult, again when I went to US, it's also a very non-vegetarian food focused culture. As a result, again in the beginning few years of my life there, I had allowed myself to continue the pattern of my family of eating non-vegetarian food, and but instead of eating all the food groups of non-vegetarian food that my family eats or Americans eat, I restricted myself to only chicken and eggs, and very rarely fish, though I didn't enjoy eating fish ever since childhood days. And there was a reason for it. The reason I didn't enjoy eating fish, not only because I did not like the smell of fish, taste of fish, also because fish was already starting to show the impact, environmental impact of earth pollution that is going on earth. And fish being the most of these fishes being existing in water and in either in ponds and rivers, or the fishes that exist in sea, both tend to have lot of pollution impact in them if their environment through which the sea has arisen has only accumulated pollution. If the environment where the pond or river or lake is existing from which you are fishing, again, if that local environment has a lot of pollutants in it, again, the fish gets the end result of all the pollution in that environment, because fish is the king of the water, right? King or queen of the water. Fish rules the water. So, like how humans rule the earth, fish or water aquatic creatures like whales and sharks, they rule water. But wherever fishes rule, if they are the top ecosystem animal or earthly creature that is dependent on all the bottom ecosystems present in the water system, like the diatoms, the algae, the seaweeds, the microbes, and everything else that the fish will consume while it is in that water, and not just consume via eating but via also breathing and swimming in that water. Everything that the fish is exposed to, and the larger the animal of that ecosystem, the more the exposure of that animal to both the food and polluted water, and also a little bit of air, as fish, I think, also do need sometimes a little bit of air. So whatever the fish need to survive, if it is polluted, they will be the end organism to get the most pollution. It's true with humans too. If humans eat 10 different food groups, and you are the richest human who is, or you have been born in a family with in a rich country where you are consuming all kinds of meat products, all kinds of vegetables, all kinds of food groups that you have the luxury to consume, if you are consuming the most if in your environment everything that is accessible to you has got polluted, be it your water, air, clothes, food, what else is there, love, even love can be polluted. If everything related to good health and nurturing is polluted, contaminated, not at the clean and purest level and form, what is going to happen to us? We fall sick. And that is what was happening to me. Now, to my family, it is very entertaining to think that the primary villain of my life is maybe my dad, because my dad is always very verbally, or many times, not always, but many times he's verbally abusive. And it is true, the verbal abuse from my dad adds to my stress. But it is also equally true that the non-verbal communication from my other family also adds to my stress, because abuse can be both verbal and non-verbal. What is non-verbal abuse? Non-verbal abuse, which is not related to verbally someone communicating in anger to you, is actually usually much more greater, much more expansive, much more hurtful, because it encompasses many aspects of living. A person who is verbally abusive or verbally rejects your plea of help is at least giving you a signal that this is my boundary, I can't do anything else, or unconsciously their verbal words are telling you that this person can't meet your need. So you already know that this person is incapable of meeting your need. But the people who are non-verbally abusive, they show via words that they are meeting your need, but they may not be meeting your need. They tell to everyone that I'm meeting this person's needs, because in their mental processes, in their energy, they are thinking that I am being the provider. Based on what? Based on what they think that they should be as a sister or a brother or a friend or a life partner or a father or a mother or a grandparent, right? Or a friend. They are thinking they are providing you what they feel that they provide is enough. But what if what they are providing is not enough for you because of various reasons? And unless a person truly loves you and is ready to sit with you and ask, why is it not meeting your need? How will they ever change? So, anytime someone's partner or family or friend or son or daughter or parent or grandparent is showing via distress, physical distress, emotional distress, crying, anger, softer nudges that, hey, this is not working for me, do you have to sit with them to ask each other what is not working? Because when X person has a problem with the Y person, it's also equally true that Y will also invariably have some problems with the X. So when X has opened a topic that I need to speak about this, first X needs to explain everything that X needs to speak about, and then Y needs to clarify, am I understanding this correct way, so that Y can, and then also have to ask how can they help. But if they don't do any of these things, can that relationship progress in a cohesive manner? And likewise, if Y also has a whole bunch of things that they have let go, they didn't address, they're thinking they are mature enough to let go of it, should you really let go of day-to-day life with someone, or do you really need to have a more cohesive strategy built with them structurally, so that every time something seems distressful to you or rings wrong to your soul, you address it, so that you figure out, is this the right place or person from whom I can get the right emotional needs met, right physical needs met, right social needs met, right familial needs met, if they are your life partner, or if they are your family, or if they are your any loved one who is key and important to your survival. Because survival doesn't just mean, if I get just air, can I survive? No. I need food, I need water, I need air, I need love, I need compassion, I need empathy, I need caretaking when I'm falling sick. These are all the things needed for a human being to survive and thrive and grow and feel nurtured and be nurtured. And also, after you get all these things, then only you can give also and provide these things to another. But if you're not getting it from any source, are you going to be able to provide it to another? If you're not getting it from many sources, are you going to be depressed, unhappy, angry? And if you've blocked your own capacity to also receive the right information and receive the right information to change yourself, or right information to communicate with another, are you also going to either add to your own unhappiness or someone else's unhappiness? So, this is the level of ascension, awakening people have to wake up to if they want a better quality relationship with anyone. Even if the God has created for them the perfect life partner, they can't have that life experience with that perfect life partner God has created with them if they are looking at that partner in a two-dimensional, like a two-dimensional puzzle piece. In a puzzle piece, there is this piece and this piece, and they join together, and that's it. But life is not two-dimensional. You don't just, if I have money, you don't have money, you're my perfect partner. No. If I earn more money, you earn less money, you're my perfect partner. No. If I am a dentist working in a particular area and you are a dentist working in another complementary area, are you my perfect partner? No. That's a 2D way of looking at life. If you think that working in the same profession makes you the perfect partner, eating the same kinds of food makes you the perfect partner, living in the same city makes you the perfect partner, speaking the same language makes you the perfect partner, No, that is just the 2D way of looking, and you are possibly being perfect in one way where you have fit well with each other, like a puzzle piece that fits well. But if you really want to fit well, merge well, immerse in good quality loving relationship with another, you are more like a sphere than like a puzzle piece. And in the sphere also, it's like a it's it's like how humans actually are made. You will need water, clean water, not just water. If I say I need water and my family comes and brings me unclean water, am I supposed to be happy with it, or will I be sad if they give me unclean water? There are three types of water you can give someone. You can give someone clean, pure water. You can give someone unclean, unpure water. You can also deliberately poison the water. Now, if I ask my parent when I am sick, can you give me a glass of water? I am not able to go and get the water, or whatever water that is there in my home is polluted. I am feeling the pollution because I am sickest. But if my family doesn't understand, because I am the sickest, I know that the water is polluted because I have been doing meditation and spiritual activities. I know when something is highly toxic for someone, and I can see it's toxic for them too, but they are at a more fitter state of health. That's why they are manifesting only one symptom from a toxic water, while I'm manifesting many symptoms. As a result, I am the sickest. And as a result of that sickness, when I ask them to get something, if they are the provider kind, they think I provide everything to everyone. As a provider, are you the right fit if you don't even bring me the cleanest water that I seek? No, right? I need the cleanest water, purest water, best water, otherwise, I will die eventually from consuming poisoned water. You are not the best person then if you can't understand even when I'm saying that this is not clean water, when my body needs clean water. That is the evolution of that relationship. If you are just supposed to be a provider, your evolution happens in trusting that when the other person is saying this is not the right thing, you trust that this person knows more than me about this thing than I know. But if you don't have that trust that this person can know something more than what I know, because just because you are the provider doesn't mean that the other person also doesn't provide you any information. If you are the financial provider for someone, if you are the physical provider of some goods for someone, it doesn't mean that the person who is consuming that good doesn't know whether the product is right or wrong for them or for many people, because this is how everything needs to work. Home care, health care, business, home life, personal life, social life, spiritual life, everything that is needed for humans to function in the modern world as a healthiest version of themselves needs multiple levels of health. But if you are stuck in only, if a man or a masculine energy woman is only stuck in seeing that she asked for water, I have given her a glass of water. She asked for water, I have given her a bottle of water. But if that is not healthy for her, if that bottle has plastic leaching happening, and as a result that bottle of water is not healthy, you have not met their need. So you can't be the perfect person for that unhealthy person then, or complementary person for that unhealthy person who is in the brink of dying or verge of death. So what will happen to that person? If that person is meant to have karma of continuing life with you for 10, 20, 30 years, eventually they will die because they fail to remember or understand or wake up to this fact. What remember do you have to do? You have to remember that while you are the physical provider of some good to someone, if someone is rejecting that good or saying this good is not the right good for me, you have a lesson to learn from them and they have a lesson to learn from you. Your lesson to learn from them is to trust them when they are saying this is not the right good for them, and bring them another thing that might be right for them, or search together with them how to bring that into manifestation on earth, or find the place where it is available on earth if you have that physical, mental, emotional, financial potential to do. So depending on your potential, God asks you to do something for someone. So every person that I met in my family had a potential to give me exactly the cleanest water that I seek. But because they are all in victim mentality or perfection mentality, or their lack of capacity to understand the need of another is limited, none of them got me the cleanest water that I was seeking. Even when I went to their place to live with them, or they came to live with me, it didn't happen. And it didn't happen when I was a child, it didn't happen when I was an adult. Only thing is, when I was a child and when it didn't happen, I had to be dependent on them as a child to do whatever crap and take whatever crap my parents are providing me in the form of food, water, air, clothing, whatever they are providing me, good or bad, I have to take it. But as an independent adult who earns money, as an independent adult who not just simply earns money, I earn the money based on some valuable education that I educated myself in. Some financed by the government of a particular place, some financed by my own earnings. So I independently did this as an adult for 22 years of my life, where I have learned certain things as an adult about living, about health, about healthcare, both personally because I have been in the near cancer level, near organ damage level phases of health, and also because intuitively and spiritually I was doing something to understand that I'm near cancer level, near physical level, and also because prior to all these spiritual teachings, prior to these diseases finally showing up in my body after years of exposure to different bad things in my life, bad quality health unsupporting factors showing up in my life, which were showing up superficially as health supportive factors, but underneath that superficiality they were not health supportive factors. So as a result, I kept getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and I kept getting sicker in different stages, because when I was living in a country where many health supportive factors were still present externally, in not in the social interactions but in the food quality, air quality, water quality related factors, I was still okay. I was also okay when pollution was there in those environments, because I was at a younger age of life and more healthier cells were there in my body. But as I am aging, I am not okay, because now if continuously I'm exposed to chemicals in different countries, and not just chemicals, there are biological toxin, chemical toxin, physical toxin, emotional toxins present in every country. And as a result, after exposure to multiple toxins, if my life journey has been to get something from these exposures, will God continue to keep me alive so that I can explain what is happening to everyone else also who's experiencing a fraction or similar level of toxicity in their own health and life? If they also want to survive, if they also want to thrive, they also have to learn the same lessons that I have learned. And apart from these physical and spiritual lessons, physical health impacting lessons, spiritual health impacting, emotional health impacting, all these lessons that life brought in the forefront for me, I was professionally also doing something related to health and healthcare. That's why I understand health and healthcare at a level that others may not understand it, because they haven't studied and spent all their life working on this, working on it, living through it, experiencing it at the personal level as well as at the non-personal level. When you are empathetic, you will also experience it via another person in front of you who is also going through the same disease state, or some similar conditions that are impacting their quality of health in some area. So what happened about the water now? Simple water thing. Now, these people I went on a trip with, on a beach town, They went and had a swim. They went and had a swim in the beach. They went and had a swim in the water of the pool. Their health was impacted by the polluted water of the beach and the pool. Like it was impacting my health. That's why I refuse to go to the beaches, or I don't know how to swim. So already God has stopped me from that experience, because my body is already, at the time when I went on this trip, I was already halfway toxed out from some water pollution. I just didn't know it. I thought I was only 1/3 way toxed, but I was already halfway toxed out. That's why energetically I was very depleted in that area, and I had no energy to go and um, be a highly active early morning person, going and even simply walking in the beach with them. So some days I didn't do that. 1 or 2 days I did that, 1 or 2 days I couldn't do that. But the days that I did it, or the days I didn't do it, what happened was, these people, they enjoyed the early morning sun. They also enjoyed the coolness of the water or whatever they were enjoying, and their health being more physically fit than me. Some of them, not all of them, but the ones who were physically fit now are okay with also going out in the hot sun of afternoon, and their health doesn't get impacted. But me, whose health is deteriorating, I'm having a thyroid storms beginning stages manifesting in my life. I didn't know at that time that the thyroid storms beginning stages were manifesting. It's only after later self reflection I realized this, because a person is usually not supposed to self diagnose themselves. But the only reason I had to self diagnose myself is because partly when I was in the worst phases of the thyroid storm, I refused to go to see a doctor, and partly when I was in a little not just because I refused, meaning they were wanting me at the time to go and see a mental health doctor, but I refused it because my intuition said that's the wrong approach. That's why I refused to go to see a mental health doctor. I was undergoing the psychosis phase or egomaniac related thought processes at that time of the thyroid storm. So, but if I had gone to a mental health doctor for a thyroid storm, which is a physical health problem for which I need thyroid organ related medicine, that would have automatically reduced my psychosis, automatically reduced certain things related to the thyroid storm. But instead, I was also going through a spiritual awakening phase. So two things were happening. Thyroid storm was also happening. Spiritually, I was getting attacked by wrong thoughts. So both of them, if I have people who are intuitive and can read my mind, they are now thinking that this person has gone mad, which is right. But why, even if they are doctors, if they don't understand all the underlying causes of a patient's madness, they are the wrong doctors for me. And that's why, even if they are a doctor who can read my mind, if they don't have the depth to understand other factors related to a patient's health, they can't be the right doctor for me. So I couldn't go with them, even though they were actually, some of these families were actually MBBS doctors, MDs from outside Indian, having outside India degrees. None of them could understand a thyroid storm symptom, firstly because they refused to meet me. If they had met me, looking at my skin, if they are good doctors, they would have understood thyroid storm was happening to me. They refused the first stage of meeting itself. Secondly, they just judged that I'm having a psychotic incident. That's why I need to go and meet a psychiatrist. But I was having a psychotic incident. I was also having spiritual warfare happening at the same time. I was also having thyroid storm happening at the same time. All of which showed up in my results later on. It showed up in the follicular lesion, that showed the nodule that had pierced and broken up into a lesion now, because that heavy intense storm, that was inflammation, thyroid storm, whatever symptoms that were manifesting, one by one they manifested. Hair fall, one by one. Thyroid storm, like it was at a manageable level when I was only having some egomaniacal thoughts. They were all very low scale egomaniacal thoughts, like maybe I'm a twin flame of someone, or like someone loves me so deeply. These kind of thoughts were happening at that time, and I don't know what. And I went to a major thyroid storm phase also, when I was having really dark thoughts. Now, depending on what illusion God was placing in their life, I don't know, but the key experience at the time when I was experiencing a thyroid storm and having going through really bad mental health problems was that when I was having, my primary issue was a physical health problem, and I said I need a physical health problem solver. They didn't listen to me, because I did tell them that if you take me to a doctor who is for tests, I will go with you, but I will not go to a mental health doctor, because at that time I was not having major mental health problems. And at the time when I was actually having the spiritual warfare happening, where all kinds of toxic thoughts were entering my third eye and crown chakra, and I was also at that time going through some stages of poisoning and many other things going on in my life. I couldn't fight that, and in order that someone could help me with this, it's not that someone spiritually didn't see that spiritual attack was happening, but they refused to help. So you see, I was a lesson for each of these people who were sent in my life to help me at a different stage according to the level in which they are supposed to help me. And I know the level at which they can help me, because my life journey has guided me to know the level at which someone can help me. I have existed like this for 30-40 years of my life. So I know when I am having spiritual warfare happening, I needed spiritual help. So when a human who could have spiritually helped me, someone who had higher spiritual understanding of the spiritual warfare, they could have helped me at that level. They didn't help me. Now that is their lesson, because if you don't help me, eventually when you need help, help will not come to you. That is your karma and lesson that you're generating when you're just amused at someone else's spiritual warfare, especially when you have been given the power to experience other people's something. Right? So at the spiritual level, someone couldn't help me. So as a result, they are facing some consequences of that now. And if they had helped me and contacted me, or actually developed a friendship with me, because that was the next stage of ascension with them, developing a friendship, a collaborative relationship, working on spiritual warfare, because then that job would have gone with them. We were supposed to work on some things, and I got this guidance long back, but I'm talking about it right now when the last help, because it's not that help doesn't come to me, help did come eventually, but that 1 year of his real intense spiritual warfare time, the people who don't understand spiritual warfare will think it's a psychosis if they are mind readers, because some of these people in my life they have been intuitively studying my thought processes for a long time. But the thing is, spiritually, they are not at the same level. As a result, spiritually, emotionally, even physical health, healing wise, they're not at the same level as me. That's why a physical health treating doctor doesn't understand thyroid storm symptoms. And it's not just from my family that they didn't understand it. There are other people also who are doctors who were given those same reports who didn't understand it. Because first of all, they didn't listen to patient history. They failed in the first stage. Some failed in the first stage. They didn't listen to the patient history. Other people failed in the second stage, thinking that I have better patients to look after, so I can't look after my own family's history. I'm not supposed to, whatever their reasons were. I can't tell what their reasons were. But they also had an opportunity to look at thyroid storm in a different way with me. Again, they could have collaborated with me. That's why they were sent in my life. According to God's guidance, some of these people who I consider as my family are really not my family. When will that truth emerge? I don't know. I have left it to God. because it's not for me to prove whether they are my family, biological family, or not my biological family. Anyone who has existed in your life as your family for many years, be it as a biological family, be it as a pretend biological family, if universe sent them your way, every person we meet, and it's not just about family, I have friends also who were like this, I had social colleagues also who have been like this, who don't understand the depth only of the issue that humans can face. Why? Because they are not supposed to be my teachers anymore. Some of them were supposed to be my collaborators, but those soul contracts have now ended, and I have known this, that the soul contract has ended long time back. It's not that I didn't know this. Even then, I'm not fallen apart. Even though I went from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial warfare to spiritual warfare, I went through all these, and even sexual warfare as well happened. I went through all these, and it's still happening. Some of it is still happening. People still send me energies that are inappropriate for me. I have said their boundaries have been set. It's time for them to stop sending those energies to me. Either God has guided them, or I have personally, if they are telepathically communicating with me, it has been communicated to them. You have to stop it. But they are not stopping it because of their unhealed traumas, their lack of understanding as to why they need to stop it, their lack of understanding of the consequences they will face if they don't stop going in a path that is detrimental for their own future progress, because they will get mired in illusions. Because there is someone who sends me sexual energy, or a few people who send me their sexual energy, because they have been guided to help me in some way, not understanding that while they have been guided to help me in some way and to recognize me, the sexual energy or sexual toying and manipulation is the way in which they will recognize me. The truth of the matter is, it's not the right way to recognize any other human being you understand on earth. And while they are thinking, say, a person has been guided by the universe that you have to protect B person. God, when their testing time is happening, is going to send them an illusion of multiple people who will look like B. And if you have understood B only at the sexual level, you will never understand B at a higher level. That's why 5-6 people will come at the sexual level who look like B, and you will never find out who is the B that you are supposed to help, because you have only understood them at the sexual level. You've not taken the time to understand any other levels of that personality. So anyone who will resonate at that low level at which you have understood this personality or connected to them, that is the only level at which you will find them. And even if it is not them, someone else is showing up, you will think it is them. You may protect them as mistakenly thinking this is B, like say B1, B2, B5 have come in your life. You will think all of them are B if you didn't understand them at a deeper level. Or you will think whichever one of them, if you have understood slightly more, you may think there is B1 to B5, and say you also know that you're supposed to help B2, but now you have decided to be clever or manipulative or something that doesn't need to go in the next stage of ascension. Whatever is governing you, be it pride, be it patriarchy, be it your urge to be superior to someone, be it you want to teach B2 a lesson because B2 is pissing you off right now, be it B2 is being very difficult and not understand that you are the protector of B2. What will happen? Even if you knew that this is the B2 that I am supposed to protect, you will not protect them. But in that lesson, the karma of that lesson was, if God has guided you to protect A, to protect B2, and A first got mired in went through the first lesson where when B1 to B5 came, they understood that out of B1 to B5, which is B2. They have understood that. But then also, if they have all these other crap going on with them, what they will not fail to perceive is, while they were supposed to help B2, B2 was also supposed to help you in some way. You are mutually supposed to help each other. It's just that A got the guidance first. B2 might have also got the guidance, but if A doesn't communicate, A is playing games, A is toying with other people, A is entertained with the fact that B1 to B5 is charmed by them, so he can be protected from B1 to B5, everyone. A wants the power to be protective of B1 to B5. Everyone, he wants to be the charmer of everyone. He will again get mired in another illusion of life because he has forgotten his primary role. And does that mean that B2 will not learn their lessons just because if B2 is supposed to learn something from there and B2 is going through their own testing, B2 will continue doing whatever B2 is supposed to do. If A doesn't help her, doesn't mean that B2's learning and lesson from that interaction stops. If B2 is supposed to, has crossed a level of karma that she was supposed to cross with A, because every time interaction is guided by God. Again, like the water that could be clean, that could have got polluted by human activities, or that is deliberately polluted by a devil's action, or like deliberately contaminated by someone who is being ruled by the devil. These are the three paths. The earthly path is not understanding when the water is impure. The godly path is providing clean water, understanding when the water is not clean, understanding how to clean the water. All those things are the godly path. And the devil's path is deliberately knowing that the water is unpolluted, I will now add more pollution there so that I want to kill this person, or whatever else is going on. I want to trouble this person, I want to show, my ego wants to show this person is troubled, so I will add. So if I have become psychically aware that this person is having psychological warfare happening, I will add I will add something that will increase their psychosis. This is what the toxic person will do, be it with the water, be it with emotions, whatever. If they are ruled by the devil, if they are ruled by the devil, if they have found that and the devil is inside of us, outside of us. The devil inside of us is the person who's a doctor, not understanding when the patient says I have thyroid storm, and the patient has education about health. If I was a patient who's a lay patient who has zero understanding about thyroid storm, zero understanding and zero technical knowledge about healthcare, if that patient tells me I'm having a physical health issue, it is okay. God will give you benefit of doubt if you don't listen to that patient. But if you are not listening to the patient who has some healthcare knowledge, or also who is self-aware, are you the problem, or is that person the problem who is self-aware and has the right knowledge with them? Whose karma has to change, whose work experiences has to change or shift or evolve in that lesson? Was it my lesson related to healthcare that was supposed to shift, or was it their lesson? Maybe my lesson about healthcare was also supposed to shift, but because I have the greater knowledge, my lessons were supposed to shift a little, and theirs were supposed to shift a lot, because I have the greater knowledge at that time. And it doesn't matter if I'm younger to them or if I studied in a different country than them. It doesn't matter. Whose knowledge is greater matters at that time, and someone who has wisdom will understand whose knowledge is greater at that time, whose knowledge should be surrendered to at that time. Because in twin flame journey, in life, God is telling everyone to surrender, right? In ascension also, people are being taught that they have to surrender to something. If they are listening to ascension messages, if they are listening to twin flame messages, they're supposed to surrender. But you have to surrender to God's guidance in the right way. If you surrender to God's guidance according to your ego, according to your power trip, according to your mistaken perceptions about another human being, you have not surrendered completely. Which is what also happened to me. So that's why I understand this. Because when heightened spiritual warfare was happening, There was also a soul who was deliberately sending me the heightened spiritual warfare because they also don't want to surrender to certain lessons they have to learn with me. And they are thinking by oppressing me, they will go ahead in life. Because this is the manipulation tactic of people, of manipulators. They think that if they gaslight someone, or if they oppress someone, or if they show to the world that this person is wrong, they will go up. That is what happened to Jesus too. The people who were getting threatened by his power to heal, power to raise humanity's consciousness to a different way of thinking about life, that was alien to the life that the Judaism faith or Roman emperors were propagating. What were Romans propagating? War and strife and grabbing property and grabbing things and getting things and materialism. What was Judaism propagating? Certain I will talk about Judaism a little later because I don't understand how to express what I have understood about what were they propagating that was slightly wrong. I have realized it, but the right words are not coming out of me right now. But at a time, why do you think Roman Empire eventually fell and Rome was the center of Christianity eventually? Because the main thing that Jesus was also talking about was related to materialism that he was trying to break down. How was he breaking down materialism? Because the poor who don't have food to eat, if they are poor, if they are poverty stricken, they don't have clean food, clean water, clean air to breathe, or whatever they don't have, that is causing them poor health. As a result, Jesus was healing the poor because they have poor health. Now, the same thing that happened in Jesus' time 2000 years back is the same thing that is happening in our time also right now. Poor people have the poorest health, or people with many health, and the poor doesn't just mean the poor person who is financially poor. There could be someone who is spiritually poor, there could be someone who is emotionally poor, there could be someone who is psychically poor, doesn't understand the value of the psychic powers they have been given, intuitively poor, that they have the power to intuitively see many things. But after seeing, if they have not developed understanding in their heart at the same level as how God is meaning that each of the things that you're seeing, what understanding you have to get from it, you will have wrong decisions, you will make wrong choices, you will see things in the worst light possible than the divine light of that experience, or the balanced perspective. If you can't see the divine light also, it's okay, you have the middle path of seeing the balanced perspective of that experience too. But if you're choosing only the darkness aspect of that experience, then some trouble is going to come to you eventually. And that is what bad karma is for many people. Anyways, I am being guided to stop this video right now because this is already a long video and it's a heavy video, and there are many things I introduce in this video that I need to explain a little bit more, which I will do in the next video. So I hope you understood something from this, and you might think I'm talking from my ego, and while it does have some ego in it, it is a guided message from God for you to wake up to this realization that if you think you are a provider for someone, be it a financial provider, emotional provider as their spouse, sexual provider as their spouse, caretaker as their parent, understand, every time you are thinking you are someone's provider or higher than them, you're not. They are equal to you in the sense that they are also providing you something. But if you fail to recognize what they are providing, this higher level perspective of yours causes your own ruin, because it causes the relationship to go out of balance and then eventually fracture or end if the person who could have helped you in balancing things is not allowed to balance the things. That's how our life crashes with a partner. That's how our life crashes. And when both of them are doing it from both ends, then the disbalance keeps on doing like this, like this, like this, and you fall out of the scales only. You just completely fall out of each other's lives. If both of them are just tugging at I am important, I am important. But if both of them realize what is the importance of each other in their life, what is the value of each other, what is the value of the mutual reason for that experience, and not the value in the like this manner of two puzzle pieces joining together, but the overarching, like earth, how earth is this big round sphere, the spherical aspect of the experience with them. There is a spherical aspect. Now you can have a dot like experience with someone, or you can have a huge earth like experience with someone. It is up to you whether you want to have the dot like occasional once in a year, once in 10 years experience with them, or do you want to have the whole over encompassing sphere like experience with them. And with the sphere like experience to develop, from a dot only, it slowly will grow into a sphere. But only if you are growing like a sphere, both of you, and both of you are realizing your purpose with each other. The purpose, which means that you have to understand what is right oxygen, what is right air, what is right nurture, what is right care, what is right health, what is right health care for each the what is the right physical, mental, emotional, spiritual supportive factor that each other needs for you to develop into a sphere. Otherwise that sphere will stop developing and you will also collapse. The sphere will collapse, it will break down, it will crumble, something or the other will happen according to what God has deemed your relationship to be like. If it was like a balancing scale, something related to imbalance will happen. If your relationship was a sphere that could have developed into a grander thing, it will collapse. If it was, and because the conditions necessary for that grander thing to develop didn't happen. So whatever is manifesting in your life that has collapsed or is collapsing, if you only ascribe the problem to the other person, realize that sometimes the problem is also within us. So it's not that I didn't make a mistake. I could have insisted with them, take me to a doctor. But these people never realize that when I am having, at the time I was having financial blocks. So I didn't have enough finances. And none of these people are the kinds to provide even financial help when I was visiting them at the peak time of my finances or at the worst time of my finances. I have visited them both at the worst time and at the peak time, and both the times, and so that's why every time I have visited them, every time I have lived with them, every time I have gone on trips with them, whoever has the greater power at that time to do something has to do the greater thing, and whoever has a less power has to do the lesser thing. But being the lesser thing doesn't mean that you are not experiencing, you're not bringing a quality of experience there that only power or money or good health can bring. Even the poor health was bringing them an experience that would have helped them. If they had understood my poor health related factors, they would understand the same factors that are manifesting in their own family, who live with them constantly. These are the family who live, whom I meet once in a few years. So these family, if in that once in a few years were paying attention, I was paying attention to them. So I know when their health is going bad. I know where their health is going bad, how their health is going bad, not just because I pay attention to them and I was disconnected with them also in some of those interactions. Even then I understand more, because while I'm getting disconnected, it's not that I'm disconnected from the experience of understanding them. I was still connected in the experience of understanding them at the deeper level. That is my soul work. Staying disconnected to dispassionately observe something, but still be connected to understand that after I have interacted with you, or while I was interacting with you, what was the core of that experience. And now there is a next stage, but that next stage can't open if you haven't if you aren't ready to open that next stage with me. I can't open it. It is not up to me. because I have tried to open it. It is only up to God or up to the humans. There are only two ways doors open with people when they are difficult doors to open. If people have closed their eyes to seeing something, if they close their eyes and think this person is lesser than them, they've closed their life experience of understanding the value of the person that was sent to them, who might have been lesser in some way, but they had more something else that they had to learn also. Like, while I appreciate that you are providing me a house to live when I'm coming on vacation, but I'm also providing you something while I'm visiting you. I was not, that's why they say Atithi Devo Bhava in Sanskrit, that the guest is like God. Why do they say that? Anyone who is a guest in our home is like God, because a person who is a guest has the ability to look at with a neutral perspective, a different perspective than the limited perspective of your daily living. That's why anyone who is a guest in your country, in your home, in your family, in your social circle, or looks like an alien to you in your country, home, or social circle, because you're not conforming to the norms of that society or social circle, usually have the capacity to provide you an insight about something that's going wrong and something that's going right, both. Of course, not every guest in your home will be like God. Devil also can come in the guise of a guest. Now, to understand which is the devil, which is the God, or if in one person only God and devil both are operating, whose word should you take up will depend on your own inner devils. If you are stuck in the idea that someone verbalizing something is wrong is an insult to you, you will never learn from a guest coming to your house saying that you need to change this in your life. You will never improve. You will never learn the lesson that the guest was trying to bring to your life. You can think that if that guest is a meek person and kind person, they will say it softly. If the guest is being ruled by a devil, they might say it in a nasty way or angry way. But in both ways that they said it, God was present in the fact that they were saying something that needs to be changed. Devil was present in the person who said it in a bad way, but God was present in the person who said it in the right ways. But if you can't understand the person who's saying it in the right ways, who's saying in the wrong ways, or even if they're saying it in the right ways, the devil in you doesn't perceive why they are saying what they are saying, what you need to change about it. Who gets even if God has come, you pray to God. God has come in the form of a devil-like person or a God-like person or a simple human telling you something in human ways. They could even say it in human ways also. 3 ways are there. There's always 3 ways. So the person who is like partly ruled by devil, partly ruled by God will say it in partly both those ways. So, but your level of perception and the devil inside of you and the God inside of you determines. Because in Indians, we also say namaste. Namaste means the soul inside of me respects the soul inside of you. Why? Every time you meet a person, you're supposed to think like that. You don't have to do this always. But if you don't think and energetically be like that, you will not respect what another person is providing to you. You will not receive a blessing that was sent to you, be it in a good way, be it in a bad way. You will not perceive it as a blessing. Wherein lies the God and devil in you. If you perceive it completely wrongly, you are completely ruled by devil. If you perceive it partly wrongly, you are in the middle path of being ruled sometimes by devil, sometimes by God. But if you actually want to completely change something about your life that you have been praying to God for changing or subconsciously asking God to change, You have to go in the god-like form to understand the messages that are being sent to you and understand them in the right way and execute them in the right ways. That is the only way. When you pray, when it's said that humans who help themselves only get the benefit of it. I'm forgetting this exact saying. See, now God doesn't want me to be perfect here. So that's why this saying he is messing up in my brains. But basically, you have to help yourself also when messages come. That's the only way to help yourself is when you understand the messages in the right God aligned, earth aligned ways. That's why only, and I talk about healthcare, that's why, because many health related factors are going wrong in our lives and people have to change. It's up to you whether the God or devil in you perceives what is being said in this message. I hope the God in you will awaken and you will perceive it in the right way to understand something from this message. And if you have understood something or you want more clarity on something, please post a comment. And I'm sorry it again went over 1 hour, but my messages are going to be this long because they encompass various levels of problems of life, and some people are like me who are in multiple degrees of problems. So my messages are intended for those who are in multiple levels of problems, and when you're in multiple layers of problems, you have to slowly deconstruct step by step. You can't simply deconstruct. If there's only one problem, it's very easy. It's like a two-dimensional puzzle piece. You can, if a wrong piece has fit, you can take away the wrong piece and try to find the right piece to fit it. That's the 2D problem of one problem. But we are in a 3D to 5D stages of life where multi-level problems are happening with all of us. So we have to have a multi-layered approach, and in order to have solve those problems in a multi-layered step-by-step manner, you also have to have the right listening, thinking, perceiving and patience skills to listen to long videos. Short videos can't help you anymore because these are not short step-by-step strategies. There's a lot of layers involved in every strategy that you have to take. That's why even when you post one question, the answer to that will be a long video. So I hope you have a good day, and I hope this was helpful. Take care.